Ooh, that looks tasty.
Stop the president from being blown up. But who is the president? More importantly, who is the bomber?
Welcome, folks. Today, the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review. And today, I am completing my three-part Tuesday night game series with a review of Two Rooms and a Boom by Alan Girding and Sean McCoy. Now, you may have already seen my reviews of World Championship Russian Roulette and That's Not Lemonade, both games that I have enjoyed. And this one took me a while to get to because, for the most part, I play this kind of game with my students. So it actually took me a while to get far enough through the school year and for the students to have earned enough game periods, in order to really get a good feel for this game. Two Rooms and a Boom is a different type of social deduction game. On the surface, it is similar to the classics of Werewolf and Mafia, and you may have seen my review of Conspirator. On the surface, it is very similar to those, but the difference lies in the fact that this is one that there is no elimination. And to me, that makes the game significantly different than all of those. But if you are not interested in how this game works and just want to get to my final thoughts, you're going to want to jump to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us who are still here, let's talk about how Two Rooms and a Boom works. First of all, it's a game for 6 to, 30 players. I imagine you can play with 40 or 50 people. I'm not sure. I just can't fathom actually doing that. And what is going on is every single game has the following in it. There is a president and there is a bomber. There has to be those. And there are two rooms, which can literally be two rooms or it can be two sides of the same room. You just have to not be super loud. And what's going to be happening is over 3 to 5 rounds, each room is going to be sending people, hostages, back and forth between their rooms. And at the end of the game, the bomb is going to go off. And if the bomber has managed to catch the president in the same room, then the red team wins. If the president has managed to not be caught by the bomber, then the blue team wins. It's just that simple. And what happens is, and I'll show you the little leader card here, is each round you're going to send a number of hostages back and forth. And you'll see in a 6 to 10 player game, it's 1-1-1, but then down to a large game, you're going to play 5 rounds and you're going to be sending 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 hostages back and forth. And then I'll also note that the first round's 3 minutes, then 2 minutes, then 1 minute. And what's happening during those rounds is each room is trying to figure out who is who. In addition to that, each room has to elect a leader. And that is simply done by everyone points at each other until you've all determined that one person is going to be the leader. And it's just literally a matter of pointing. And then when over half the people are pointing at one person, that person is now the leader. Now, that person doesn't have to stay the leader. That person can choose to give the leadership to somebody else if they want, or someone can attempt to usurp them. And the way that happens is simply someone else raises their hand, and immediately that room pauses, and then the voting goes on again. And if more people are pointing at the new person, then they're not a leader. What the leader's going to do is the leader's going to be the one that's going to determine what hostages get sent from room to room each round. Now, while you are in the room, what's going on is you have a choice of what you can do. You're either going to, everyone has their card upside down, is you can either do a card share, meaning you show someone your entire card, and note it is called a card share. So that means if you want to card share with someone, you can't look at theirs and not show yours. And there is no, well, you show me yours and I'm not going to show you mine. That's not how it works in games or, well, anything really. Or you can do a color share, which means you are simply showing, whoops, I should go this way, which means you're simply showing that you are on the blue team. And again, it's a color share. Now, I know that your first thought is, well, that's not particularly hard because you're looking here and you're seeing that everyone's either red team or blue team, and then there is a president or a bomber. Well, the good news is that that's just for the super basic game because there are all of these different types of characters that you might happen to be. And each character adds something slightly different to the game. And let me show you some examples. So for example, there could be on the red team an engineer. Well, the only way the red team wins is if the engineer has card shared with the bomber. The engineer's got to make sure the bomb's working. If that has not happened, the red team can't win. Maybe you are the blue team bouncer. And well, so what that's going to mean is you could just kick out an extra player on the hostage stage. You can just send someone else out. Maybe you are the ambassador, and there's an ambassador for both teams, in which case you're going to be able to just walk back and forth between the rooms all you want. Dr. Boom, in which case if you card share with the president, you blow him up, you immediately win. And so you get the idea. Now, there's also things like there's the gambler, which is a gray team. The gambler, at the end of the game, they stop and they say, you know what, I think red team's going to win. If they're right, they also win. There's all kinds of cards that you can be. This stack right here is the variants that I have used with my students here. And now, that's a good amount of variety. However, there is a whole bunch more. And let me just show you here. There are all of these cards here that I have not even begun to use with my students. I've told them about some of them, and they want to use a bunch of them, but there's only so many. My classes are a little bit small this year. And you can see kind of going through, there's just all these different things. There's so much. Okay? I mean, even down to you are drunk. Clearly I'm not doing that with my students. In any event. That's how the game works. That's what you're doing. That's what's going on. It's hard to just explain here. I can't demonstrate it because you need at least 6 people. And really, the game really shines when you have at least 15, 16 people. So, what do I like about this game? Well, I'm going to start with the basics, which I always talk about, is the components. The components of this game are fantastic. I don't know if you could hear it through my microphone there, but these are not cardboard or cardstock cards. These are PVC cards. And the reason why I am in love with that as a choice is because people's hands get sweaty. And so if you're sitting there holding a card the whole game, some people are going to have sweaty hands and it's going to mess up the card. They're going to warp, they're going to lose color, but these are not going to do that. And so I'm actually a big fan of these cards. And I like the artwork on them. That's very stylized. It's good. The cards are great. And I also really like that for a social deduction game, there is no player elimination. That is my least favorite part of playing games like Werewolf. And I've said it in some other reviews, I tend to be pretty good at deceiving other people. And so I'll play Werewolf once, I'll do well one game, and then every game thereafter, I'm almost always knocked out right away. And it's just not as fun for me. So when I play Werewolf or Mafia, I'm usually the one running the game. But with this, you don't get eliminated. You're getting sent back and forth. Everyone is active the whole time. Because of the time limit, there is this urgency about it. You have to make decisions quickly. With a lot of people, you can't see everything that's going on. And as you start adding these other characters, things start to get really interesting because you don't know what's going to happen. Suddenly, it's a real choice. Do I want to card share with somebody? Because that might make them suddenly win the game. But on the other hand, if I just color share, well, what if that person that I'm sharing, well, they could be a spy. There's actually cards that you could be the red team spy. Your card looks exactly like the blue team card, except it says you're a spy over here. So all those things are in there, and suddenly you're starting to think, and you're all working together trying to deduce who the important players are and get them out of the room, but you also know how many rounds are going to be. And so if I know that the president and the bomber are both in my room right now, and it is the 4th round, well, maybe I want to keep them here. Because if I keep them here, they can't send them back. So I want to wait till the last round and then send them over so I can get a win at the last minute. And I think that is the core and what is fun about this game, is all of those choices that you get to make. And then, of course, I really enjoy that there are so many different characters that you can be. And for every room that you're in, there are options. Clearly, I'm not using the card about being drunk with my middle school students. Obviously not. That's not appropriate. But if you're in a different room, maybe that's fun. Maybe you would enjoy doing that. There's cards in here that literally all you have to do is share your card with anybody and you win. Like this one right here. You are the Illuminati. If you card share with anybody, well, you win, game over. So can you imagine if you know that this is in the game? So suddenly it's this really frightening prospect of doing a card share. Or there's stuff like this one here. All you have to do is see somebody's card, and then you win. So suddenly you play this and you're going to have people crawling around on the floor trying to peek under people's hands and figure out what it is that they have. And so all of that really makes it fun and interesting and totally wacky and bizarre. So I'm a big fan, really, of all of that. So what are my quibbles about the game? And I don't really have many. My only real issue is you gotta really have so many players to play. My classes this year happen to be smaller, and there has been a day that we were set to play, and they really wanted to, where we had between 6 and 10 players. And it's just not as good of a game. If you have 15 plus, that's when this game really shines. It's just not as much fun at lower player counts. And I cannot speak to what it's like playing with over 22 players. I can only imagine it is utterly insane, but probably a lot of fun. So, there you have it, folks. That is 2 Rooms and a Boom. I enjoy this game. I think, as far as social deduction games goes, this is really the only one that I want to actually play in. I do enjoy running some of the other types of games, but I don't enjoy playing them as much. But this one is fun because you're never out, and the level of complexity can just add up and layer upon layer, and it really does have a very long shelf life, I think. So if you're the type of person that enjoys social deduction games and has a large group of people that you can play with, then I highly recommend this. I think it's pretty close to a can't-miss game. Usually I find that social deduction games, they're variants on the same theme. This one does feel different to me. I'm sure someone is going to make a comment or send me a message and tell me that, no, idiot, it's clearly a knockoff of whatever game. But to me, this is unique feeling, and I enjoy it. So, as always, if I made any mistakes in the barely there explanation of the rules, let me know in the comments with a timestamp, and I'll get them to the Klingon subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share. You know how it works. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.